Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind and beautiful girl named Cinderella. She lived with her mean stepmother and her two stepsisters. They made Cinderella do all the chores while they wore fine dresses and danced around in luxury. They never said a kind word to Cinderella. Despite this, Cinderella always stayed gentle and kind. One day, an invitation arrived at their house from the palace. It was an invitation for a grand ball. The king's son, the prince, was returning from his travels, and they were hosting a ball so he could choose a bride. The stepsisters were ecstatic and spent all day choosing dresses and getting ready. But poor Cinderella had nothing to wear, for her stepmother had locked away all of her nice clothes. On the night of the ball, after her stepmother and stepsisters had left for the palace, Cinderella sat by the fireplace, feeling very sad. Suddenly, a burst of sparkles and light appeared, and there stood her fairy godmother. "Don't worry, dear Cinderella," the fairy godmother said with a twinkle in her eye. With a wave of her wand, she turned a pumpkin into a magnificent carriage, some mice into horses, and lizards into footmen. Then, with another wave, she transformed Cinderella's rags into a gorgeous gown and crystal-clear glass slippers. "You must be back by midnight," the fairy godmother warned, "for the magic only lasts until then." Cinderella promised she would return on time and set off to the palace. At the ball, everyone marveled at the mysterious princess, for that is what they thought she was. The prince danced only with her, feeling a connection like none he had ever felt before. As the clock struck midnight, Cinderella remembered her fairy godmother's warning. Hastily, she fled the ballroom, so quickly that she left one of her glass slippers behind on the grand staircase. The next day, the prince, determined to find the girl who lost the slipper, went from house to house, searching for her. When he arrived at Cinderella's home, her stepsisters tried their best to fit the slipper, but their feet were too large. Just then, Cinderella appeared, modestly dressed in her regular clothes. "Let her try," insisted the prince. To everyone's amazement, the slipper fit perfectly. Cinderella pulled out the other slipper from her pocket, and it sparkled just like the one the prince held. The stepmother and stepsisters were completely shocked, realizing too late how poorly they had treated her. But Cinderella, being kind-hearted, forgave them all. The prince and Cinderella were married soon after and lived happily ever after. She brought her kindness and warmth to the palace, and the kingdom was a better place for it. And so, dear children, remember, no matter how others may treat you, stay kind, for kindness always prevails.